How to practice at home. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. How are you? Great. So listen, today I am going to give you lots of ideas about how to practice speaking English when you are alone at home. Home Alone sounds like a film, right? Are you ready? Let's do it. Hello, and if you don't know me, my name is Daniel. I run the channel English Stories. So listen, today we're going to be looking at how to practice speaking English when you're alone at home. It's not so easy for many people, right? Because maybe you don't have any native English speakers in your city. Maybe there are no tourists that you can go and harass. Maybe there are no groups locally where you can go and chat and speak English. And maybe you're not ready to go on Skype and try to find some random English person to chat with. Someone you don't know. I mean, that can be quite hard, especially if you're a little bit shy like me. So what I want to do today is share with you lots of ideas about how you can practice speaking when you're on your own at home. Alone, right? Good. Now, if you do know me, you may be thinking, what's that strange orange block over there? That wasn't there before. True, and it's my meditating mat. Sometimes I sit and meditate. Sometimes I don't. I'm just tidying at the moment, so I couldn't find a place to put it. So right now, it's over there. Okay, the truth about speaking is that, yes, you can watch videos, you can watch films, you can listen to podcasts. All of that is great. But at some point, you need to start speaking. You can speak on your own, but also later you'll need to start interacting and practicing speaking with people. But that's not always easy to do. So right now, today, I'm going to focus on some really practical, simple activities you can do when you're on your own at home to start practicing speaking. So the first technique is called speak into the mirror. And this is really useful, but really, really simple, right? It's easy because you can do this first thing in the morning when you're brushing your teeth. Or, well, you can't speak and brush your teeth, but just before you brush your teeth, and in the evening before going to bed when you wash your face. What do you mean you don't wash your face in the evening? Why not? My mother always told me to make sure you wash your face, clean behind your ears, wash your neck, scrub your neck. Yeah, wash your face before you go to bed. It takes all the dust and pollution off your face, apparently. Anyway, that's a great time that you can do it, and this is good because the key to learning and preparing for IELTS is habit, right? And if you can attach your learning to an existing habit, like brushing your teeth or washing your face, then it makes it much easier. Now, I used to do this when I was learning Chinese. In the morning, after brushing my teeth, I would just have a few sentences talking about what I'm going to do today in the future, right? Speaking Chinese, right? So, today I'm going to go to the park. I need to go to the supermarket. I'm going to buy some vegetables. I'm meeting Ethan at 6 Gao, and I might go to the cinema. All in the future. Brilliant! And then at the end of the day, you can talk about what you did or what you have done, right? Today, I went to the park. I played football, I went shopping. In the end, I've done a lot. It has been a good day. Right? Past tense, present perfect as well. So you can see it's actually great to practice different tenses. It's a bit like writing your diary at the end of the day, right? Which is also a great way to practice writing, but this is speaking in front of the mirror. It's nice. It's reflective learning in many ways. Okay, moving on. The next one I call collocation fun, right? Collocations are words that are often used together, right? Like, we talk about heavy rain in English. We don't say big rain. Today there's big rain. No, there is heavy rain. So these are collocations. Collocation fun is where we're going to practice speaking using a very common teaching method, really based on the task-based approach to teaching, and it's based on prepare, practice, present. So we'll be preparing the words, the collocations, practicing sentences, and then presenting a whole talk. Okay? Now, the reason I suggest doing this in front of the mirror is that actually there are great benefits of talking to a mirror. First of all, mirrors don't answer back like young children or wives. But apart from that, right? When you're speaking in the mirror, you can look at your mouth and you can see the kind of movements that you're making, which is great, right? It's useful for pronunciation. You can also check your body language. You may be surprised to see that you speak like that without ever moving your arms, or that you suddenly realize that you're doing this all the time. That's fine, but being aware of your body language can be quite good. And also, you feel like you're talking to someone, right? Many people I know, and this happened to me, practiced for a long time with a book, and when I went to speak to somebody in a foreign language, it was like a shock seeing this face in front of me. Oh my God. But practicing with the mirror, you got used to a face in front of you, right? So it does help. So let's look then. Prepare, practice, and present. Preparing. What I suggest you do here is you take a topic, right? A recent topic we were studying in the live lessons was science, right? And then get some collocations. You can use your course book if you want. You can get onto the internet. You can go to my channel and watch other content like How to Learn English, My Struggle to Learn English, and others, etc. This one is called English Stories, and in here, right, you have got free videos, lessons you can go through. There is a recent one on how to learn English, so you can just listen, right? Download the video. Yeah, we want to download that. And then find in there all the collocations. Look, you've got the notes here, and here you've got collocations, you've got idioms, you've got loads of stuff. And what I would do is I would take maybe 6 or 7 collocations or idioms, like exact science. It's not rocket science. To be on the same wavelength. And that's the preparation. Right? That's step 1. Step 2 is, in front of the mirror, just make a sentence with it. Right? Exact science. Well, parenting, bringing up children, is not an exact science. Cooking is not an exact science. Frying an egg, it's not rocket science. It's actually quite easy, right? And then I'm just practicing sentences here. And then in the end, after practice, present. I take one of the old part 2 questions around science. Maybe something like, describe an area of science you're interested in, and then start to talk about it for maybe a minute and try, if possible, to use some of these phrases and sentences, right? So you may say something like this. Describe an area of science you're interested in. Well, okay. I guess an area I'm interested in actually is cooking. And I know it's not an exact science, but I guess it's a branch of science, a branch of food science, maybe. Right? And I am interested in the science behind cooking. I think it's very interesting. I know with cooking, when you heat things up, they change. And when you mix different things like sugar and vinegar, you get different levels of acidity and chemical reactions happen. So I think it's really interesting, right? I think chefs and scientists are really on the same wavelength because they're trying to experiment, discover new things, whether it's cooking or new dishes, things like that. I know cooking isn't rocket science, but I am interested in how it works. And so, yes, although it's not a hard science, I think it's an interesting area of science for me. So you can see what I'm doing really here is not giving a perfect part 2 answer. I'm just trying to activate and practice some of these expressions that I've been learning. And that's it, really. So that's it. It's great because that preparing the collocations, practicing the sentences, and then presenting a talk is a really tried and tested method. Doing it in front of the mirror, it's great. You get everything. You get the contact with somebody, but you can see yourself. You can monitor yourself. It's really, really effective. Collocation fun. Great. I want to go and do it. It sounds like so much fun. I'm going to do it again right now. I'll be back in a moment. And next up is practice with short audios. Now, I am a big fan of extensive listening, right? Listening to podcasts and films, that's great. But when it comes to speaking, I think short audios are much better. They are bite-sized chunks, they're easy to use, and your concentration is shorter for shorter periods of time. You can work with, for example, recorded sample answers. There are many great websites with samples. You can use a YouTube channel like this one with practice answers. Listen, pause, repeat. Repeat sentences aloud. Record yourself, listen, and compare, right? You can also find short audios online with pronunciation practice. There are great apps and resources with short audios for this. And then you could listen, repeat, and practice, right? It's great. Listen and repeat. Now, one great way is to use short sentences from a podcast or a book and then practice pronunciation. For example, when you listen to an audiobook or podcast, you can find a great sentence like, Ethan went to the park. You could stop and repeat it. Ethan went to the park. Say it several times. You could listen to different versions of the same sentence to understand different accents and intonations. It's very helpful, right? If you want to practice more detailed speeches or presentations, listen to the beginning, listen to the end, and then try to remember and present the middle part. It helps with fluency and memory, right? For example, you might listen to the start of a podcast where Oliver talks about his favorite activities. Then, at the end, he mentions his plans for the weekend. Try to remember and talk about the middle part, where he talks about his experiences during the week. Now, finally, storytelling and creative speaking. I'm a huge fan of storytelling because it's one of the most natural and human ways to speak, and you can do it alone. How? Well, you can write a story. For example, what you could do is write a short story about something you've done today, right? I went to the park and met a dog, and the dog chased a squirrel, right? Write a story, and then tell the story aloud, maybe in front of the mirror, or you could also record yourself telling the story, or tell the story to someone else later if you get a chance. It doesn't matter. You could also try and tell a story based on prompts, like a set of pictures, images, or words, and create a story out of that. It's really creative. You could use online image prompts or cards, or create your own, or you could retell a story or movie plot that you know well, or a favorite book. But speak it aloud, tell it in your own words. Storytelling helps with fluency and helps you practice grammar and vocabulary. The more you do it, the more natural it feels. Okay, so those are the 3 tips. Speak into the mirror, collocation fun, and practice with short audios. And as a final tip, remember, practice is important, but so is feedback. If you can record yourself and listen back, it's really, really useful. And if you have someone to give you feedback, that's even better. But if you don't, well, just practice and enjoy. If you have any questions, just let me know. Listening. When we listen to anything, we listen only for the meaning. We don't listen for language. When I'm talking to you, all of you are listening to the points which I'm making. How is English important? How to listen. You are able to understand the meaning, but meaning is not important for improvement. For improvement, what is important is language. What we require is language. When we listen for the first time, only meaning comes. You know, when I'm speaking to you, only meaning becomes clear. Language is learned by imitation. So listening for meaning, that is language. Not only for content and listening repeatedly. These 2 things, if you do, then your source of English is developing. You know why we cannot speak English? You know why these students who spoke so beautifully, I was clapping all the time they were speaking. Why could they speak so well but not in English? Only 2 reasons. One is they never practiced English. Now one more foundation is there, and that is reading. Are you not reading English all your life? Is there anybody who does not know ABCD? All of you know the English alphabet, yes or no? Then how is it that we don't read anything? Whenever you are asked, what do you see outside? Many posters are there. God has given us, a supercomputer. It is called the head-top computer, not desktop, not, laptop, but head-top. Free computer, you don't have to pay any money. It is there. How much space is inside? Endless GB space. These days, we have so much technology. 10 years back, we didn't have so much. Now you can record anything which you hear, which is good. All of you have your cell phones. Record it. Listen to it 10 times. Today when I go to my MA class, you know how high-tech Osmania has become. As soon as I enter my class, 20 phones are kept on the table. My lecture, they record. They go home and they listen. They listen 10 times and they write the exam. This is how high-tech helps us to learn language. Whenever you listen to good English, record it in your cell phone. If you're recording songs, please record some English songs. The best way of learning a language is by learning rhythm. Keep by hearting. Thank you for watching, and I hope these tips help you to practice speaking English at home. Remember, keep practicing, and see you in the next video.